and illegal trash dumping hurts community pride, Pitt County development, and natural resources. Together, we can make a difference. Secure your loads to prevent
Good evening and welcome to the, whoa, a little loud there. Welcome to the Pitt County Board of Commissioners meeting. I'll call our meeting to order and we'll have roll call. Okay, if you would stand with me, and Commissioner Huggins is going to have our invocation.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this gathering. We thank you for letting us get up and come out to this meeting. We ask your guidance, and dear Lord, we ask that we receive your guidance. These blessings we ask in your Son Jesus' name. Say amen.
Thank you. We're going to have the pledge now. I'm going to invite up Gracie Moore and Riley Baker from D.H. Conley. Please introduce yourself and lead us in the pledge.
Hi, I'm Riley Baker, a sophomore at D.H. Conley High School. I'm currently a sophomore class president in SGA. Thank you so much for having me this evening.
Good evening. I'm Gracie Moore. I'm a senior this year at Conley. I'm in the DHC SGA, and I currently serve as the student body vice president. At this time, will you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you so much for coming out. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, if I may make a motion to approve with removing number 7 and 19 to discussion items.
Okay. 7 and 19. Okay, got a motion and a second. Please vote. Okay, Madam Manager, we'll move over to public addresses. Any public addresses?
Mr. Chairman, no one is signed up to speak.
Okay, all right, we'll move to presentations. Madam Manager, I'll turn that over to you.
Yes, if we can have a motion to approve all four, then we can go down front to present.
Okay,
Second.
got a motion and a second. Please vote on these.
And the first person to be recognized is Eric Sawyer. If you come forward. Thank you, and have a stand on the black line. One of the favorite things I get to do each month in this particular meeting, because of the inclement weather, I get to do it twice, is to recognize our Employee of the Month. We are so thrilled to recognize for the month of January, Eric Sawyer. And the way Employee of the Month works is this is not necessarily supervisor driven or even true performance driven. It is peer-to-peer, and when peers notice employees modeling the values that are important to Pitt County, they submit nominations. And then prior Employees of the Month review that whole stack of nominations, and they select one Employee of the Month each month. And so for January, Eric Sawyer, and I have trouble calling him Eric Sawyer because he was my daughter's teacher, and so he'll always be Mr. Sawyer. But Mr. Sawyer joined Cultural Arts and Recreation in this past August during preparations for the community center's grand opening, and he quickly became an essential part of the team. His nominator said he helps to ensure that the facility was fully operational. He is the primary point of contact and welcoming face at the center. He consistently provides clear and accurate information, and he always creates a professional and inviting experience for every visitor. He also took on the responsibility of managing vendor contracts and including coordinating food truck vendors at the Alice Keene District Park. He skillfully scheduled vendors, maintained strong communication, and ensured accurate information was shared for events and programs. And you have impressed your coworkers, and we celebrate you for embodying what's important in Pitt County government. So with that, Mr. Chairman, if you will present a certificate of recognition that reads Employee of the Month for January 2026, presented to Eric Sawyer, Cultural Arts and Recreation, in recognition of your dedication and exemplary service to Pitt County government and the citizens that we serve.
Well, I'll have to say this. My wife worked with Eric for probably 20 years out at Conley, and she has told me so many times there's no finer gentleman to work with than this guy right here. Congratulations on behalf of the Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And in addition to your certificate, you should have had direct deposited a $100 check.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and if we'll scooch in for a picture. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Deborah Savage. Is Deborah Savage here? There she is. I didn't see her behind that row. I am equally thrilled to present to Deborah Savage with Pitt County Public Health February's recognition for Employee of the Month. And her nominator said that she was nominated for her exceptional dedication to her role and the individuals and communities she serves. The nomination said, since joining the Pitt County Health Department, Deborah has shown exceptional dedication through her active involvement on numerous committees and her continual willingness to serve beyond her assigned responsibilities. She generously shares her time, expertise, and support with organizational initiatives, often stepping in without being asked to assist with events, coverage, and special projects. Deborah's strong commitment, collaborative spirit, and readiness to go above and beyond makes a meaningful difference in team operations and overall program effectiveness. Deborah has been a communicable disease health educator and has served Pitt County for 6 years. So we thank you for your service. Mr. Chairman, if you will present that certificate of recognition.
Deborah, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Your prize was also direct deposited, and if we can scooch in for a picture. Thank you so very much. Okay, next, if we could have Macy Cowan come forward. And you can see it right on the line. Thank you. Macy Cowan is receiving a resolution this evening because of her dedication to education and continued professional development. Macy Cowan is in the Register of Deeds office, and she has a resolution that reads, whereas Macy R. Cowan deserves to be congratulated by the Pitt County Board of Commissioners on her accomplishment of receiving her certification by the North Carolina Association of Register of Deeds. And whereas Macy R. Cowan has diligently pursued the advancement of her certification in all areas as a Deputy Register of Deeds. And whereas Macy Cowan has given her own personal time to prepare for in-depth examinations necessary to achieve certification in this area. And whereas Macy R. Cowan, by her recent attainment of certification in all Register of Deeds areas, has joined an elite group of deputy registrars who have been certified at this advanced level. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pitt County Board of Commissioners honors and recognizes the achievements of Macy Cowan for the attainment of the advanced level of certification in all areas as a Deputy Register of Deeds, adopted the 16th day of February 2026, signed by Mark C. Smith, Chairman, and attested by Kimberly Hines, Clerk to the Board. Mr. Chairman, if you will present that resolution.
Macy, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your commitment to excellence. And last last but not least, we have a small group to call forward from Future Business Leaders of America. If we could have come forward Advisor Kurt Garner and the students that you have brought with you. And we'll line you up this way. Another one that I feel like I have to say Mr. Garner because that's, you just get used to it. But Mr. Garner is here with students, and I may have a few more names, so I'm going to have you introduce yourselves.
My name is Jaden Buckman. I am a junior at J.H. Rose.
My name is Rachel Nelson, and I'm a senior at J.H. Rose.
My name is Thomas Jarvis, and I'm a senior at J.H. Rose.
My name is Dylan Patel, and I'm a senior at J.H. Rose.
Thank you so much for joining us to receive a proclamation signed by the chairman that reads, that recognizes February 9th to 15th, 2026 as National FBLA Week. I'm going to read to you what this is all about. It says, whereas Future Business Leaders of America Incorporated, FBLA, is a nonprofit educational organization whose first chapter was established in Johnson City, Tennessee in 1942. And whereas Iowa became FBLA's first state chapter in 1947. And whereas J.H. Rose High School officially chartered its FBLA local chapter on January 21st, 1969. And whereas FBLA includes more than 250,000 members and advisors in 4,600 chapters nationwide in middle schools, high schools, colleges, universities, career and technical schools, and private business schools. And whereas FBLA is a professional business organization dedicated to bringing business and education together in a positive working relationship through innovative leadership and career development programs. And whereas FBLA members perform community service activities and strive to build a student's understanding of the realities of the modern business world. And whereas FBLA teaches middle school, high school, and college students basic business and leadership principles and assists them in the transition from school to work. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pitt County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim February 9th to 15th, 2026 as National FBLA Week in Pitt County, North Carolina, in recognition of the activities and efforts led by the students in Pitt County schools, adopted this 16th day of February 2026, signed by Mark C. Smith, Chairman, and attested by Kimberly Hines, Clerk to the Board. Mr. Chairman, if you would present that to their advisor.
And I'll say that my wife used to work with Kurt as well, and she has always said what a great teacher and leader you were. So congratulations for leading this group. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Scoot your soul in. I think I'm inside that black line and we're inside that black line. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank
Signature?
you.
Thank you all. That's all we have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we will move on to public hearings. I'll ask Jonas to come up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, members of the board, Madam Manager. The next item on your agenda is a rezoning request for Christopher Sutton. The request is to rezone 45.62 acres of property owned by Stokes Sutton Farms LLC, identified as parcel number 21731, and it's located at the southeastern corner of the intersection of County Home Road and Ivy Road, from rural agricultural to rural residential. Looking at the site map, you can see this property is located just southeast of Haddock's Crossroads at the intersection of Ivy and County Home Road, just to the east of Ayden and Winterville. Looking at the existing land use map, you will see the subject property is outlined. It is currently in agricultural use, as well as the predominant area surrounding this property, with some residential mixed in, interspersed throughout this general area. There's also some institutional you'll see in blue. Those consist of churches and or graveyards. The Envision Pitt County 2045 future land use character map shows this area as being designated as rural residential. The land use plan also identifies Haddock's Crossroads as a rural center. You'll see in that light blue on your map. The future land use designation of rural residential applies to transitional areas that include a mix of low-density suburban development and agricultural lands. New development shall have relatively large lots or be clustered away from sensitive areas and or working agricultural operations. These areas include single-family homes, low-density subdivisions, as well as the surrounding agricultural land. Uses include low-density residential, agricultural, agribusiness, some isolated non-residential uses, specifically along major roads or near key intersections. The utility access is limited primarily to on-site septic systems, and public sewer may be available in some areas. The density is 1 to 2 dwelling units per acre. Looking at the current zoning map, you'll see there is a commercial designated property there at the intersection. That's the old Haddock's Grill location, and this property is just adjacent to that. I do want to point out, if you look at the current rural residential zoning area, is primarily north of Ivy Road. But if you look back to the east towards the NC 43 corridor, that rural residential does come south of Ivy Road along that area. The proposed zoning, again, is rural residential. Much like the future land use plan indicates, this is for low-density, single-family use, as well as public and institutional uses, and it does not have access to public, or does or may not have access to sewer. Pitt County planning staff finds that the request is consistent with the Envision Pitt County 2045 land use plan. The area requested for rezoning is designated as rural residential on the future land use map, and the uses in the area are a mix of single-family, residential, and land and agricultural or undeveloped property. Planning staff also finds that this request is reasonable and in the public's best interest because there is existing rural residential, residentially zoned property across Ivy Road and on both sides of Ivy Road, east of the subject property at the NC 43 South intersection. Additionally, any future non-residential uses will require a site plan to be approved by planning staff. The planning board reviewed this request at its January 21st meeting and voted 11-0 to recommend approval of the request, and advises that it is consistent with the comprehensive land use plan and is reasonable. So staff recommends the following motions: adopt the consistency statement stating that the request is in compliance with the land use plan and it's reasonable because there is existing rural residentially zoned property across Ivy Road and at the intersection of NC 43, and to approve the rezoning request. So, Mr. Chairman, I will turn it over to you now.
Okay, we'll let the county attorney read our opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With this public hearing now open, Pitt County welcomes all comments on the Christopher E. Sutton rezoning request. Please state your name, address, and the name of any organization that you may be representing. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak.
Thank you, sir. We will open up the public hearing, and I think we have two, Madam Manager, that have signed up.
Correct. The first one is Chris Sutton. If you'll come to the podium, please. Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Chris Sutton, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'd like to start by saying that I actually live on the farm. This is family land. It's been our generations for years and years. We have recently had some additional needs for our family to have housing. That's the reason for the proposal. When I reached out to zoning, I found out that if we wanted to have one side-by-side duplex so that we could house some of our family members that have housing needs, then with the current zoning, we were not eligible to do that. We would need to apply for residential rural residential. So that's the reason for us applying for this. It's not to develop the land and create neighborhoods. I know that that's sometimes a concern from neighbors. I've reached out to several of our neighbors and had that conversation. I've had a really warm response, and they really appreciated that we don't have any plans to sell or to develop this into a neighborhood. It is for our families' use and to have housing for them. Thank you, and I appreciate you letting me speak today.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sutton.
And I have Jerry Fisher.
Good evening. I want to make sure that I follow proper protocol. When I came up to speak, I'm not used to coming to the meetings here, and I saw that it was about zoning. I have another issue. If it's an appropriate time now, or should I wait until you allow that time?
Let's finish out the public hearing. Is that what we need to do first, Madam Manager, and then can we have them come back up after that?
You can. If he intended to sign up for public addresses to the board, you can reopen that portion if you need to.
Okay.
So
Let's finish the public hearing. Let us wrap that up, and then we'll invite you back up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor or against the public hearing? Okay, I will close the public hearing, and what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move that we adopt the consistency statement and approve the request.
Okay,
I second.
okay, we got a motion and a second. Please vote. Okay. Jonas, you got anything else?
No,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll go back. We'll open up the public addresses, and we'll invite you back up. You can come on.
And if Matt could make his statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
County Attorney, if you'd read your statement again
Pitt
as well.
County welcomes all comments on matters of public concern. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak. A total of 30 minutes is set aside for public addresses to the board. Please state your name and address prior to speaking.
My name is Jerry Fisher. I live on Harold Street in Greenville in Pitt County. Thank you for doing that, by the way. I appreciate it. I'd like to be respectful of protocol, and looking at the agenda, thanks for doing that. The reason I'm here is that I've grown in concern over the years of what's happening with the Pitt County Sheriff's Department, and things have just seemed to have gotten worse and worse and worse. And on January 4th, I noticed there was a resignation letter that was sent out by Molly Plunt. Unfortunately, it's gotten out to a whole lot more people than you guys probably expected. As of 5:37 this afternoon, 46,569 people have read it on my website. Just so you know, pretty much everybody knows that you have this resignation letter, and what I'd like to know is what you guys plan on doing with it. Reading this, it says that I have received major backlash, and this is from Molly Plunt, business manager from the Pitt County Sheriff's Department. I've received backlash from wanting to complete business matters in the most appropriate and legal way possible when the rest want to do the most convenient way possible, regardless of legality. For example, I was actually fired and rehired on the same day last year for insisting on completing a contract for vending machines in a new building. A contract was never made. I was told, who would ever know? The Rockingham Sheriff's Department, Sheriff's Office is being under investigation for doing the exact same thing right now. Further along in the email, it says that, let's see here, inappropriate and illegal activities between staff and vendors are also have been noted. Now, I believe that you guys represent us. I understand that the sheriff is an elected position, but you guys represent the people in the county. And when the sheriff's department is doing stuff like that, then what happens? Lawsuits. We already have lawsuits. Paula Dance made history as being one of the first Pitt County sheriffs to ever be noted in a federal court for how she treated a deputy, Ray Smith. That's case law. Anybody can go look it up if they want to. That ended up causing a lawsuit, and that had to be settled. Most of the Pitt County residents probably don't even know that. Most people in this court, most people in here, and most people that are going to be watching this, and most people in the county probably have no idea that Pitt County is having to cover the insurance for the sheriff's department because they can't get their own. There's a lot of stuff that's being covered up, and we need you to protect us. We need you to do the right thing, call the State Bureau of Investigations, and have an independent investigation done of the sheriff's department. There needs to be a financial audit done, and there needs to be an investigation, independent investigation done of this sheriff's department. That's what I need you to do. You guys were elected to protect the citizens of Pitt County. Please do that. I'm not a person that makes demands. I'm making a request. All I want you to do is please do the right thing and make sure that the sheriffs and the sheriff's department are being held accountable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Okay, we'll move on to items for report. Madam Manager?
Yes, is Gina Allen present? Welcome, Gina. Come forward. She is with the USDA Farm Service Agency, and Commissioner Ann Floyd Higgins asked her to come speak for just a few minutes about the services that her organization offers to local farmers.
Good evening. My name is Gina Allen. I'm the County Executive Director for the Farm Service Agency, an agency within USDA here in Pitt County. I met Commissioner Huggins at an event that was held in the Agricultural Center, and upon discussion with her and some questions about FSA, I thought it would be prudent for me to maybe come before the commissioners, because maybe you have questions about FSA and what we provide to Pitt County. Did you know that North Carolina agriculture contributes $92 billion annually to the state's economy? In Pitt County, we have 2,334 farms registered with FSA. In 2025, soybeans was the #1 crop in Pitt County, with over 55,000 acres reported planted. Corn and peanuts rounded out the top three, with 17,000 acres of corn planted and a little over 10,000 acres of peanuts planted. So FSA provides critical services such as farm loans, disaster assistance, conservation programs, and commodity support. These programs help producers manage risk, recover from natural disasters, maintain financial stability in the ever-changing agricultural landscape. We also have a board that is elected every year, called our county committee. It's similar to your board, which is composed of locally elected farmers and ranchers. These committees ensure FSA programs are tailored to community needs, reviews applications, confirming eligibility, and advises on local priorities. A true example of democracy in action, farmers helping farmers to ensure fairness and relevance. FSA has an economic ripple effect in each farmer's success, supporting agribusiness, schools, and local services. We provide stability and growth through loans and risk management tools, which enables producers to invest, innovate, and thrive. We provide conservation programs to help protect our waters and our land. And we empower communities with our county committees, which brings rural voices into federal program design. In closing, FSA, guided by county committees to support a robust program funding, is more than a federal arm. It's the backbone of rural North Carolina, from specialty crops to disaster recovery, and from conservation to financial stability. FSA strengthens communities county by county. In Pitt County alone, my office paid out over $17 million to farmers, ranchers, and landowners in the years 2024 through 2025. So I have a packet of information here, along with my business card, that goes into detail about our farms we have, how many producers, things of that nature. There's a couple of other fact sheets here for you, and also a map that shows how we divide our county committees up per our elections. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions from the board? You going to pass those out to us?
Sure.
Okay, great,
sure,
thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Allen,
All right,
appreciate you coming out tonight.
thank you for your time.
I just want to say thank you also.
Okay. Okay, Madam Manager, I think we have Michael Hardy next with the monthly financials.
Good evening. So the two reports I have tonight, the first one being is for the month of December. So take in mind that we're getting to December, it's 50% of the year. So what I wanted to highlight was looking down the line for general fund, solid waste fund, and EMS fund, you can see that the current year-to-date percentage is right at 57% of revenue collected, along with for solid waste 74.6% collected, and then for EMS fund 56% collected. You'll see on the expenditure side, once again, we're at the 50% mark for the year. You'll see that general fund is right at 44.7%, then the solid waste fund is at 46.4%, while the EMS fund is at 56%. When comparing, looking at the revenues over expenditures, you can see that for the general fund, the revenue collected is currently exceeding what has been spent to date, along with the solid waste. With looking down the bottom for EMS fund, you can see the revenue collected right at about the same as the actual spent. One thing to note is just simply the revenues that were collected from looking from 24-25 were some of the backlog of third-party billing service, comparing it to the current year for the actual revenues collected. Looking to the month of January, you'll see we're right now at 58.33%. This is where we're getting into the point of the year where we can start seeing projections with trends of how we're spending. So you can see in the 25-26 column, you'll see once again we're at 58.33%. You can see that we have currently collected 68.1% for the general fund, 82.6% of the solid waste fund, and then 70.1% for the EMS fund. So you can see comparably to the revenues over expenditures, once again, our revenues are 68% over the 51.9% for the general fund. And then also the solid waste fund, you can see comparably the 82% that's been collected versus the 54.6% that's been spent to date. And then once again, the EMS fund, you'll see right at 70.1% of the revenue over what's been spent at 62.2%, which is the same thing when you're comparing, looking at the 24-25 revenues of the 9.59 million compared to the 8.9, which is once again that EMS, the backlog of billing that occurred in the prior year versus the current year revenues for 25-26. Are there any questions with either month?
Any questions for Michael? Okay. Got a motion to approve there, and a second, please vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, we'll move on to the tax collection report. Russell?
Good evening, Chairman Smith, Commissioners, Manager Gallagher. This evening I present to you the January tax collection report. The fiscal year combined tax collection rate through January 31st for real and personal property was 96.07%. The combined rate 1 year ago for real and personal property was 95.63%. Pitt County Tax Administration continues to pursue all outstanding taxes using the necessary remedies available under the North Carolina General Statutes. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, it's my recommendation to approve the tax collection report as presented.
Got a motion to approve and a second. Please vote. Thank you, Russell. You're up again, I see.
Yes, sir. For my second report is the report on taxes that became liens on real property. North Carolina General Statute 105-369A requires the tax collector to report to the Board of County Commissioners annually typically on the first Monday in February, the total amount of unpaid taxes for the current fiscal year that are liens on real property. A report with data through January 30th, 2026 for Pitt County, the EMS district, and other special districts have been generated. It also includes data for the following municipalities: the town of Ayden, town of Bethel, town of Falkland, town of Farmville, city of Greenville, town of Grimesland, and the village of Simpson. A copy of the complete report is available for public review at the tax collector office and/or at the county manager's office. If there are any questions on this report, I'm happy to answer them. If not, it's my recommendation to approve the report.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, Chris, Commissioner Donnelly, excuse me.
Sorry. Thanks, Russell. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Russell, I see that in the packet, you've got outlined kind of what the running average is of previous years of uncollected taxes. And it does seem that we are somewhat in line, but I wonder what the projection is. Is there a large outstanding taxpayer, or is this kind of just a lot of small unpaid bills that's kind of resulting in this amount of lag?
It's going to be a little bit of a combination.
Okay.
Anytime we have any properties that are under appeal, we have several at the Property Tax Commission. They don't have to pay those particular tax bills.
Okay.
And so those have not been paid, so that'll be some. And then we do have some smaller balances as well that are contributing to that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Do I have a motion? Got a motion and a second. Please vote. Thank you, Russell.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Manager, you are up next.
Yes, just a few items to report, starting with your next meeting dates, March 2nd and March 16th at 6 p.m. in this room. Also, a reminder for those attending that the NACO Legislative Conference will be February 21st to 24th in Washington, D.C. At this time, we have Commissioner Melvin McLawhorn and Commissioner Ann Floyd Huggins attending. Item C, I wanted to let you provide a quick update on the severe weather. Thank all of you for patience as we worked diligently through the winter storms that we've had. And I want to shout out to Randy Gentry, Emergency Management Director, who led us seamlessly through it, and also provide additional appreciation to over half of our workforce that continue to work every day throughout that storm. 911 doesn't stop. The Sheriff's Office doesn't stop. Emergencies for social services and public health don't stop. Buildings and Grounds was out here working. Animal Services continue to show up each and every day to take care of the animals in our care, and so on. Financial Services made payroll in a timely manner, even though they had to do so remotely. So really want to shout out to all of our staff who went above and beyond during that inclement weather. And also, just as a follow-up, in your last budget, you may recall that you allocated $25,000 to the Salvation for an emergency shelter with warming and cooling stations. And those were operational during this storm and took in up to 20 people each day to be sure that they were warm and safe. And they did so due to the support that we provided so that they could buy cots, blankets, and staff and feed the individuals who were there for them. So a real success story. Sometimes we allocate the funds and don't always see it in action right afterwards. And so I'm really pleased with how that operated throughout the storm. Item D, a couple of the next three items are just informative, and you may have seen press releases about them, but for the good of the group, EMS continues to go to the next level with innovation. And I am thrilled to share that we have equipped all county ambulances and quick response vehicles, QRVs, with Sapphire 4 infusion pumps. So this is an infusion pump that will provide safer and more precise medication administration, making sure that we have greater accuracy and consistency when we have a patient within an ambulance. It applies to our pediatric patients, and it has multiple functions to provide a wide range of treatments, from cardiac medication, pain medication, and critical care interventions. So I am thrilled that our emergency services is continuing to use the latest state-of-the-art mobile technology in order to provide the best quality care while transporting from an emergency to the hospital. Item E, American Heart Month. February is American Heart Month, and we've had a fun month so far celebrating it. On February 6th, our workforce wore red on National Wear Red Day. If you looked up at the courthouse cupola on that same day, it was lit red. To honor the occasion, we did hands-only CPR classes through the American Heart Association on February 4th. We'll offer two in-person CPR classes on February 25th by our EMS staff. And last Friday, before Valentine's Day, if you were at the Pitt County Office Park Community Center at 415 Government Circle, you could have participated in aerobic soul line dancing. in celebration of activity for Heart Month and Red Valentine's Day. So we were pleased to continue to celebrate that this month. And then finally, I also want to, in terms of informative recognitions, also share that we're celebrating Black History Month this month. We are encouraging ongoing conversation that supports understanding, inclusion, and shared community. And keep an eye out for Human Relations Commission, who will have a special event recognizing integration in public schools this month for Black History Month. So all of the information is contained on the county website, and we encourage commissioner staff and the community to participate. Item G is another date to hold on your calendar. March 20th, 2026 is our projected date for our legislative luncheon with the state delegation before they go into the short session this year. And also we'll confirm the date later, but to give you a heads up that in the month of March, we're hoping to host a joint meeting with the city of Greenville to get an update and follow-up to reports on Pitt Greenville Airport. And then finally, would love to make you aware that we have filled 2 key department head positions. Kevin Wallace is in the audience, if you'd stand, please. Kevin Wallace has come on board and now serves as our Director of Pitt Area Transit. So we are thrilled to have him on board with goals of assuring safety, customer service, and efficiency in that operation. So we're thrilled to have you. And she was unable to be with us this evening, but Kimberly Mitchell now leads Pitt County Animal Services, and we're thrilled to have her on board as well. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Madam Manager. We got items for consent. I think we pulled off 7 and 19 for discussion. Okay. Okay, we got a motion to approve all except for those 2, and then we'll have some discussion on those 2.
Second.
Here, second, okay. Please vote. And Commissioner Brown, I think you pulled those, so I will lean over to you.
Chairman, the first one was number 7, and the sheriff's service contracts of $400,000. If I may, can I invite Michael Hardy back up to just add some clarity surrounding this? I know a couple of us were in the pre-agenda meeting and got a chance to discuss this, and I really do I apologize about my throat, but I really appreciate you separating this. I believe it went from like 250 to 400 to cover both expenditures and the revenue, correct?
Yes, this is
Okay.
essentially an increase to that actual expenditure line, about 400,000. You'll see also the increase to the revenue line. So it's not only increasing for the contract security costs that we're seeing, that does change from year to year. Some years can be more than others depending on the amount of events that we have in a given year. And this year was a particular year where it was exceeding where it needed to be. And in addition, the original budget should have been adjusted a slightly higher amount than where we're currently at. So this $400,000 increase will put us with our associated revenue and expenditure.
Okay, so can the staff fully confirm that the 400,000 adjusted will fully be reimbursed through those contracts, and that there won't be any gap in the middle that the taxpayers are then liable for?
Between the billing piece and what's
Correct.
actually being spent, yes.
Okay, perfect. That was my question. Thank you so much for clearing that up.
Mr. Chairman, and if I can just clarify
Yeah.
as well, everything that Michael said is exactly right. But I guess just for the full understanding of the board, to understand how this works, and to probably provide a small nuance on the potential for a gap, so that we're not misleading anyone. So the sheriff has an opportunity with off-duty deputies, and she's here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the sheriff has an opportunity with off-duty deputies to provide contract service to private entities within the community. And they request that service, and she enters into a contract to provide that service. And this board has set in your manual of fees the hourly rate that she charges, which is $47 per hour. She then assigns staff who will go out to provide that service, and then that private entity pays the county the $47 per hour. We, as a county, pay the staff person their regular pay plus overtime for the hours worked, because it's a similar type of pay. So they will get their pay, and then if they have contract time beyond that, then they'll get time and a half or overtime for that time worked. $47 is the average that we believe is the cost to cover that overtime across the board. Now, that may, from time to time, vary. And each year, when I meet in budget conference with the sheriff, and last year in particular, we talked about, is $47 the right number? And when we discussed it last year, it was for on average. But there may be, and I don't want to get too nuanced, some gap if the officer who worked is receiving more than $47 an hour for time and a half, right? And so, and then it's recouped at $47 an hour. However, there will also be officers who are paid less than $47 an hour at time and a half. And so the goal is to estimate and project what that total amount of expenditure will be, matched by that total amount of revenue, and we hope that it matches up. And in this case, due to extra work that was done by the sheriff's office beyond what we originally projected, so this is not new money from your general fund. This is a reflection of new revenue coming in from the outside to cover the time and a half that's being paid on the inside. And so that's why it's an equal wash of revenue and expenditure. But we could have, and have had in the past, years where, while we project it, if higher paid employees within the sheriff's office did more contract work than lower paid employees in the sheriff's office, there might be a delta. And then we look at that in determining the best rate when you set your budget in the future year. So during budget this year, you'll have an opportunity to talk with the sheriff. And one of the questions you may choose to ask is, where did we land on that $47 an hour? Is that the rate that we need to affirm for the going year, or does that need to be adjusted? And she is typically prepared, and we have those conversations in our budget conferences before it comes to you. Just wanted to add that supplement.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, both of you.
Matt, do we need to vote individually on those two, or can we do 7 and 19 together?
No, I would do it individually.
Individual, okay. All right.
I have one question.
Good. Commissioner Weaver?
Yes, sir.
In the pre-agenda meeting we had, and maybe county manager, thank you, Mr. Chairman, maybe county managers can actually, this was actually, we were showing a deficit, so we had to get it because it was throwing the numbers off. Is that also correct?
Speaking of the revenue that's being
Correct.
collected, currently the original budget for the revenues with where we're actually spending does not match up. To get to get the budget where it needs to be for the associated expenditures, we also have to raise that revenue as well. So right now we're currently not as a deficit, but there is some, as Ms. Gallagher was saying, there is some actual differences between what we're billing and what's actually being coded as the expenditures, because there is some differences in some of that red payable, what you can capture. But as far as the deficit, there's currently, the revenues are exceeding where the budgeted expenditures are.
Correct,
So,
but
yes.
they were not evening out like they should have, and it was showing difference. So that was one of the reasons.
And you mean just the actuals or I guess the actual received to what's actually been
Correct.
expended? Yes, there could be some slight differences because some of the administrative time to be able to capture those expenditures with the actual billing piece. There could be a little bit of difference, yes.
So this just evens it out correctly.
Yes.
That's the main, thank
Yes.
you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure. Any other questions?
Thank
All
you.
right. We hear a motion on number 7.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Okay,
Thank
and
you.
then we'll move on to number 19.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I appreciate it. On this one, we also brought this up in our pre-agenda meeting. We just didn't have a lot of information on it, and I was I was inquiring basically on the job description, which since then I had looked it up and found pretty much all the qualifications and such, what the actual funding goes towards, what UNC is paying, and so on and so forth. So I got a lot of that answered. I was just curious on the measurables, I guess, back to this board, if those are already laid out, and if not, maybe what those might look like. But then addition, is there any plan to report back to the board on, how the pathway goes then for the fellow?
Certainly.
Mhm.
Great question. We are currently finalizing our new business retention and expansion program of work. So that's a grant we received. We actually are working with a consultant and finalizing that. And this is actually out of that. There's actually a couple of things going on. We have that plan under development. We also have an NC Economic Development Association fellow that we were accepted for, which is at no cost to us, which is going to work from May to August, helping implement or begin to implement that plan, and maybe even those metrics that you're talking about, the deliverables, determine what they're going to be. And then during that time, the fellows will be interviewed and accepted around July and start in August. So timing-wise, it actually all falls into place. And then that lead fellow will start in August. So we expect them to work on our business retention and expansion outreach. We would like to develop a web portal that will serve our existing industries. So some of that would be the engagement that comes through the portal, engagement to actually develop the portal, and some of those will be the deliverables that we could bring back to you, and certainly anything else that you would like to see.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Any other questions on 19? Okay, we'll hear a motion.
Motion.
Hear a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote. All right, we'll move on to items for decision. Madam Manager, I'll turn those over to you.
Yes, the first one is seeking this board's approval on a memorandum of understanding with Greentown Properties. And they don't need to come forward, but if they would stand up, I'd like to introduce to you from East Carolina University. We have Stephanie Coleman here, and she is Vice Chancellor for Administration and Finance with East Carolina University. And beside her is Dr. Sharon Painter, who is Chief Research and Engagement Officer, Chief Innovation and Engagement Officer at East Carolina University, among the many other hats that they wear all day long. So it has been a pleasure to work with them and our coalition partners. You can sit down, thank you. But they are here in support of this item and available to answer any questions you may have. But this is a collaborative effort between East Carolina University, Pitt County, the City of Greenville, and Greenville Utilities Commission to support ECU's Research and Innovation Campus on 10th Street, on the right side of the street as you come over the 10th Street connector towards Evans. And you've heard about this project multiple times in the past. This project is occurring on a distressed qualified census tract within West Greenville, and it will create an urban hub focusing on job creation, research development and education, business growth, and workforce development. That's the objective. ECU's project, ECU, is working with a developer to truly transform this tract from its current state into a state-of-the-art economic and educational engine for our community. And we've been working on this for quite a while. So to bring ECU's project and vision across the finish line, I'm recommending that we enter into the memorandum of understanding that is in your packet with ECU's nonprofit, Greentown Properties, for a 5-year period whereby we would contribute up to $150,000 per year as needed so that ECU has the support that it needs to get this project done. Our agreement would be contingent upon the same commitment from ECU, City of Greenville, and Greenville Utilities, and our funds would be spent for allowable public purposes identified in the MOU that's contained within your agenda package. So when you've heard me say that this is a new day in Pitt County marked by thoughtful collaboration between key partners in this county, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Coming together, pooling our public resources for the good of our community, and in this case, in a transformational way to support education and economic development. So with that, you have the information in your packet. It's not new to you. I'm happy to answer any questions you have and seek your motion to approve the MOU attached.
Any questions?
Am I understanding this correct, that each party would pay the same amount?
Correct.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, sir,
Yes,
as
sir.
county manager, if one of the other entities does not, then it's squashed, correct?
Correct, and that's in the language of your MOU.
Correct.
If, so the city of Greenville and Greenview Utilities will consider this, I believe, on February 23rd or 24th, I may have the date wrong, at their later meeting in February. If one of them does not approve it, then this does not go forward.
Just wanted that to get out. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, any other questions?
Not a question, just a statement, as Commissioner Weaver, but just so everyone is also aware, this is 42% pre-leased as of right now. And so I thought that that was a positive that should be shared.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
So move.
Okay, got a motion here, second?
Second.
All right, please vote. Okay, we'll move on, Madam Manager.
Thank you so much. Yes, the next item I am super excited about. I was excited about the last item too, but this one I am super excited, and I invite Karen Wichard to come to the podium. Karen Wichard is with Barry Dunn. She is our lead in our strategic planning process. You have all met her before, probably multiple times before. And I know that it is somewhat later in our agenda, but ask that you give her your time and attention as she walks you through our proposed Pitt County strategic plan.
Thank you, and good evening. It is so exciting to finally get here after all the weather. You know, we were scheduled to do this in January, but tonight I have really the strategic plan for y'all to consider. So really what we're going to talk about tonight is a quick reminder of our plan development process. How did we get here? What was the process that brought us to this evening? A little bit about our community engagement, and then we're going to step through the different components of this plan, the mission, vision, core values, and then the specific priority areas and objectives that are really intended to guide you all over the next 5 years as you align county staff, resources, and budget towards where you all want to go into the future. And then finally, we'll close with next steps. So first, a little bit of grounding. What is a strategic plan? You have all seen this slide, but just as a reminder to level set, it's really what you all are going to focus on. What's the intentionality of where you want to be in the future and how are you going to get there? It's a roadmap. In a lot of ways, one of the really important pieces of this is it's intended to be a living document. So you are about to launch into budget season. In fact, you may have already started. So as you're going through the budget process every year, what does your plan say? Where are you with the plan? How do you need to calibrate those budget resource decisions with your strategic plan? And then critically, it's a tool for transparency. What do you all say that you intend to do as a board? Where do you want to be as a community? And how can the residents hold you accountable? Say, you know what, they said that this is where we're going. How are we doing along the way? Importantly, at the bottom, and I'm really excited because we actually start this in earnest tomorrow, the how to get there, that's the implementation planning that we'll do to staff. So once again, this is the what, where are we going? The how to get there is that implementation planning that occurs with staff. So what sources inform our strategic plan? As you all know, we had interviews with all of you all. We sat down one-on-one to talk about what your perspectives were, what you thought were important for the county, the community, the organization to think about over the next 5 years. We had a community engagement platform called Social Pinpoint where we did a community survey. We had an ideas wall where residents could say, this is what our ideal for the future looks like. These are the things that are important to us. We looked at economic and community demographic data. We looked at your previous budget documents. Where are you today? What are the projections? What do we need to account for from a financial standpoint, from a growth standpoint? What are some of the externalities that are out there that you need to consider from a planning context? And then we also did some employee survey work. So we had employee focus groups. We also did an employee survey because in a lot of ways your staff, they're the experts on the service delivery. So what are their perspectives about where the county is and what should be considered in going into that planning effort? So we put all of that together, and as you know, we spent time, I guess it was October now, I should have looked that up. I think it was October. It's been some time with the weather. But looking at your mission, vision, and core values. So as we talked about, the mission is really your purpose for being. What does the county do all day, every day? What are those mandates? What is it that you all are required to do? What is it you want to do? The vision is, where do you want to be? What is the essence of this place, the essence of Pitt County? What does that future look like? And then finally, the core values. I always like to say, this is how you show up every day. How you treat one another, how you treat residents, how you treat staff, how staff treats residents, how staff treats one another. Really, what is it that binds you together from that perspective? So one of the first things we did together from a planning standpoint is we reviewed your mission statement. So you'll see here the one on the left is the existing mission statement. And when we had our time together, we talked about that this is long, it's lengthy. The county manager talked about how she has her candy trick where she goes around, asks people to recite the mission statement. It's a lot to remember. So we came back with the new mission statement that we proposed tonight that's shorter, it's pithier, and it really gets at what you all do. So the new mission statement that we have proposed is that Pitt County enhances the community's well-being with care, respect, and efficiency. So really that overall sense of what y'all are supposed to do from a public health standpoint, from a social services standpoint, transit, all the services you all provide from well-being, that you do it with a respectful way, that you do it efficiently, right? That you're good stewards of the resources that you're provided. So that's the proposed mission statement. From a vision statement standpoint, you all talked about how you really liked it being short. The existing vision statement, a leader in the state, best in the East. We spent a lot of time talking about the vision statement, about how this community is in a really interesting place relative to the urban, to the rural, with reflecting on where you've come from, reflecting where you're going. So what we came up with from a new vision standpoint that we worked with the project management team on is community at heart, innovation at mind. So really grounded in who you are as people, what this place is, where this place can go, and how you get there in new and innovative ways. From a core value standpoint, these are the core values that we came up with. We talked a lot about, you had that core value statement, right? It had a lot of semicolons, it was all lumped together, but really trying to get words that were meaningful and the importance on describing those words, unpacking what it meant. So I always like to say these are the words that the county manager and the department directors, when somebody shows up for their first day of work, these are the key things about what does it mean to work at this county and how do you show up every day. So the core values that we have proposed are professional. We embrace service delivery practices that are consistent with our mission and promote excellence. Collaborative. We achieve success by working together to accomplish great things for our community. Compassionate. We act with integrity and show care and empathy for others. Accountable. We commit to sharing information, making decisions that are deliberate and based on fact, and using public resources wisely to retain community trust. And finally, innovative. We foster a culture of curiosity, adaptability, and encourage the development of new and improved ideas. So what I want to do is I want to pause there and think about collectively, because mission, vision, and core values really work together as a package, and get initial feedback or thoughts on what they are. Do you like what you've heard? Is there something missing? Do you feel like this is the right place to be from a mission, vision, core value standpoint?
Okay, now's your chance to.
And I'm
Say
here
what
with
you
my
wanna
pen to scribble notes, and I'm happy to go back on some slides if we need to do that too.
Any comments? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I would just say that I really, I like it. I think anytime we have something new, it takes a little while to get used to it, but reviewing it and sleeping on it. I think the idea of it being a living, breathing document, our county growing and changing and being dynamic, I think that based on all the input, I like where it sits. We could spend hours and hours talking about things, but I think the heart of what we've really gotten down to, I think this really reflects it well, and thank you so much for your work.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Everybody seems to be pleased.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna have to learn the vision statement all over again.
It's short there, right? That was one thing we heard loud and clear from y'all, short mission and vision, so. Other thoughts, other feedback for the team?
Anything else? Okay. We'll move on.
All right, so now what we want to walk through is really the guts of the plan in a lot of ways. So we have the strategic priorities, so these four in front of you. So I'm going to share these priorities, share the definitions, get your feedback there, and then we'll walk through the specific objectives for each priority area. So the four priorities are community well-being, economic vitality, balanced development, and organizational excellence. So if y'all remember when we were out at the rec center, we talked about the four things that you are really intent on and focused on. This is what bubbled up for you all. So first, community well-being. We prioritize the health and safety of our community by promoting physical wellness, providing for basic needs, and creating a safe environment for all to thrive. So really that notion of the table setting that local government does in so many ways. How do you keep people safe? How do you provide core support for basic needs? What does that look like for you all as a county organization? The second one, economic vitality. We drive economic growth by championing vibrant communities, supporting the workforce, investing in education, and fostering business development through strategic partnerships. So how do you continue to grow and diversify the economic base here, both from big, large businesses to the local small businesses and everything in between? What does that look like for you all, and how do you focus energy and effort on that? The third one is balanced development, like so many communities in North Carolina and the Southeast, really trying to figure out what that sweet spot is, right? So we promote intentional, well-planned development supported by infrastructure that meets the current and future needs of the community while also preserving valuable natural and cultural resources. And then finally, organizational excellence. The goal statement here, we work to create a high-performing, collaborative, and transparent organization that aligns government structure with community priorities, optimizes process, invests in people, technology, and facilities to deliver timely, high-quality services. Said bluntly, the care and feeding of the organization and all the things that need to happen to make that excellent service delivery go for the frontline employees. So thoughts on the names of these priorities? Is anything missing? Are these the right ones? The goal statements? Does this feel right to you all, or is there something we need to consider?
Any feedback? That's a quiet group tonight.
I know.
Okay.
All right, we'll keep right on rolling. So the first strategic priority area we're going to go through is community well-being. So I have a few slides on objectives. We'll go through each slide. We'll talk about the objectives and go from there. So community well-being, you'll see here. I'll give you just a moment to read these, and then we'll talk through them. And then I'm going to go to the next screen because it continues on. There are a few where these spill over. So when we look at community well-being and that notion of creating a safe community, the services that are required from a health and human services standpoint, thoughts on these objectives? You know, there's the creation of the Consolidated Health and Human Services Agency, implementing the right recommendations from the Fire Services Study, looking at how you can add primary health services and public health, as well as a community paramedic program to help augment care in the community. That's something we heard quite a bit about in the community engagement, was around that access to care. The continuing the work that you've started around the cultural arts and recreation, that great work you've done with those centers and the programming you're offering, continue to implement those. And then the partnership opportunities with East Carolina Medical Center and others to develop a violence interruption program. That's one of those programs that really requires everybody at the table in the community working from all the different facets that can really get to the root cause of some of those challenges. And then the next slide around child welfare. What can you all do from a Kin First standpoint, which is highly supported at the state? The outcomes are really good on that. As well as other programming to reduce the overall number of children in foster care. What can you do at the Pitt County Detention Center to decrease recidivism and improve overall community safety? the work that Animal Services needs to do from a needs assessment. Like, what are you doing to support that department in providing public safety, spay, neuter, and rescue in that area? The supporting the protection of and access to locally produced foods. We talked a lot in the one-on-one interviews and in the community. Y'all have such a strong agricultural environment here in this region, but are the benefits of that really hitting people who need it in the community from a health and wellness standpoint? So how do you tighten those connections? And then finally, updating the homelessness plan to meet current federal requirements. So thoughts on these objectives? There's a lot here. There's a lot of work. One of the things I always like to say, this is a 5-year plan. This is not a next week plan. So a lot of long-term activities in these objectives. But anything missing or anything that particularly resonates with you all?
Anybody got anything? Commissioner Perkins Williams? Well, you normally got something. I just thought I'd check.
Well, I keep seeing the homelessness, and when I see people standing out in the middle of the street, where does it fall in here?
So that is actually this last one. So the county has a homelessness plan. It has been updated in a while. There's been changes at the federal regulatory
not here yet.
level. So updating that to help mitigate some of those challenges. And that, like the violence interruption, that's one that takes everybody at the table because it's such a complicated issue.
'Cause I just didn't want it to be just left out there on the street.
And I will tell you, every community we do work in right now, regardless of level of socioeconomic status, is struggling with this issue nationally, regardless of where they are.
Commissioner Brown?
Can I ask how far off we are? Because I know we're like at 21%, or at least the last time we looked.
Are you talking about
from a poverty level, which well exceeds?
It does. So you all are high as far as poverty level, not high relative to this part of North Carolina or similarly positioned counties in the southeast, but high nationally. And a lot of that, I think, ties directly to educational attainment and economic vitality. So I think other pieces of this plan will really help get to some of those root causes. And I don't know, County Manager, if you have anything you'd want to add to that.
No, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah. Anything missing in this? Anything that we need to talk about further from an objective standpoint in this priority area?
Mr. Chairman, if I could just bring to the board's attention, we did ask on that first initiative with regard to human services consolidation. I wanted to be sure the board was aware of the sentiment shared by both the Department of Social Services Board and the Board of Health. So the Social Services Board, and I see Sharon Rochelle is here as well, they adopted a resolution at an open board meeting in support of that objective, so that they can enhance collaboration between social services and public health for the purpose of enhancing service to the community. When presented to the Board of Health, they were a little hesitant. They did not adopt a resolution in support. Rather, they provided a letter, which is at your place settings this evening, that expresses their desire essentially to retain their existing governance structure and to sort of wait and see what outcomes might occur in other counties who have consolidated. I will say that this is an increasing trend throughout North Carolina, and we have provided multiple examples in both situations where I do believe we can enhance the service that we provide to our community. And I just want to provide one example, if you'll indulge me, on how to collaborate together. So for example, Public Health has storage units that are paid for with grant funds where they store pack and plays, right, for safe sleep. And they have storage units full of pack and plays available to go out to families who need them in accordance with their program guidelines. Social Services identifies at-risk families, and they send a social worker out. So you'll have a public health nurse who may be following a vulnerable family through the prenatal care and the birth of the child, and from a nutrition perspective as well. You have social services working in a separate silo right now. They're going out to the same house, visiting the same family, assessing the same safe sleep, and then trying to identify through community resources a pack and play. And so the simple sort of notion is, imagine the enhanced service to our community if public health and social services went out together and identified if there was a safe sleep issue, provided a pack and play, provided the wraparound services this family could need, then from a prevention perspective, we would avoid a case coming into social services from the get-go. And so it will not, in full transparency, save you money. That's not the intent of consolidation. Sometimes people think you consolidate to save money and create efficiency. It will require the employment of a human services director, which will cost the county more money than it pays right now. Although I am hopeful that a human services director who gets in place can look at both agencies and find areas to collaborate and create efficiency that would far exceed the cost of that additional position over time. And so those are the factors I want you to think about and be intentional about your decision, having had the information and feedback from both boards. And I know this is also not a topic that's brand new to you this evening. I think Commissioner Huggins first brought up consolidation multiple years ago. And so I know this board has thought about it, and many others have talked about it along the way. So that's what I've got on that.
Thank you. Any comments, Commissioner?
Just I guess to dovetail with that, having this as a part of our strategic plan and adopting it as a part of that platform doesn't necessarily get it done. But it does show the board's intent to explore that as a possible avenue moving forward. And if we're all, serious about that, I think it's important that both boards that oversee those entities currently right now, our adoption of this doesn't mean that we've sorted how it's going to happen, right? It's just an adoption of a goal.
Correct.
I think that's an important distinction to make as we prove it, because it devils in the details.
Exactly.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay.
All right, we'll move on to the next priority area, which is economic vitality. So the objectives here are all on this side, so I'll give you just a moment. So really, the objectives on this side around how do you support the overall economic ecosystem in the county. First and foremost, you'll see we talked quite a bit in your retreat about education and the funding of the schools and the community college. So that first one, formalize the funding process with Pitt County Schools and the community college to get those resources aligned to reach the maximum outcome benefit for the community. Continuing to promote industrial site development, facilitate connections to resources, and explore other support mechanisms to increase the overall economic base. One of the things I forgot to say in reading this objective, I remember, a strategic plan is not all new things. Sometimes it's just saying the things that you're currently doing are important, and this one is definitely a reflection of that. Y'all have already done quite a bit of work in this space over the years. The third one, we have housing-related objectives and economic vitality from a workforce support standpoint, right? So if you're supporting the workforce, safe housing is a key part of that, as is childcare. So the third objective, partner to increase affordable housing for low to moderate income households by promoting equitable development, expanding funding opportunities, and supporting relevant initiatives. This is a significant trend we're seeing for economic development agencies and county governments related to the housing issue that's national, similar to some other things, the homelessness. How do you support that workforce so they can be stable and able to provide economic benefit to the community? The fourth one, exploring strategies to support your small businesses to encourage entrepreneurship. So the big industrial development, as well as that small business ecosystem, is reflected here. The air service operations is the next objective. So how do you partner and continue to partner with the city and the airport authority to improve those air service operations? The next one down is all about downtown. So partner with the City of Greenville, East Carolina University, and the private sector to create a new transformative waterfront development that includes office space and retail options as well as recreation amenities. We heard a lot about that gap for what about the young people who have just graduated? How do we retain them? What does that look like? What does that mean? That speaks a lot in this objective right here, as well as really activating some of the spaces downtown for further economic activity. When I look at your downtown area, there's so much potential. So seeing that reflected here. And then finally, lastly, following those other trends, staff felt really strong about this in the plan development session, but exploring new initiatives to increase access to high-quality childcare in the community. So that it supports your county workforce, it supports the overall workforce, it aligns with some of the things that are happening at the state level relative to supporting the development and expansion of childcare opportunities in the state. So I'll pause there. What's missing? What do you like? What do we need to rethink as far as this priority area?
I have a question.
Okay.
Surprised you didn't call on me. Where in this, most of the downtown area in the city of Greenville consists of East Carolina University. These are not the people who are traditionally here full-time.
Mm-hmm.
But we have other students who coming out of school who really can't get to the downtown area.
And who cannot be privileged to what's going on down there.
Mm-hmm.
So where is it for that group of students who are in the outlying areas?
So the non-East Carolina, I'll make sure I understand your question quite here. So
Mhm.
the non-East Carolina University students, just kind of the broader community and that access to
Who
downtown.
tend to be here or remain here, where is their culture?
So I think a piece of that shows up in that transformative development, right? So how do you connect across the river with parks? What does that look like, not just from a commercial and residential development standpoint, but that connection, right, to whatever those recreational amenities may be. The other piece of that, I think, shows up in the balanced development, right? So that's the next priority area around those connectivity points across the
Shows up.
county.
Did you say in here?
And the next priority area in balanced development. So that whole notion of how do you create that fabric of the community where everyone can really participate. So it's kind of embedded in lots of different areas to help meet some of those needs.
Because if they have nothing to do and they're out of school, and I'm concerned about what will happen to the community. It becomes a prey on each other. Negatives coming in. So if we can't keep them active to channel those actions and that energy, we'll have problems.
Yeah, and I think to that point, the cultural and arts master plan is a piece of that, those activities, and then the violence interruption program, right? What are some things that meet the needs of the community to keep people busy and engaged, the small businesses, all of that really plays that overall sense of community well-being and economic vitality. And I don't know if there's anything else you would want to add. Okay. It's an excellent point, though.
Any other comments? Okay.
All right. Y'all are really quiet this evening. Our next priority area is the balanced development. So we've got another couple of slides here, so I'll walk through them and we'll come back to the beginning. So the first one is along the lines of you already have a comprehensive plan, implement those recommendations, right, to appropriately manage future growth and development, improve infrastructure, and accomplish long-range goals. This is really intended in a large way to make sure your plans are talking to one another. So you've got the comp plan, you've got the strategic plan. What is the mechanism for those to work together? The next one is around developing a unified development ordinance to consolidate and streamline development regulations and really make everything consistent, right? So consistent for people applying for what they need to from a building standpoint, so residents understand the nature of how everything works, so that you can actually fully implement your comp plan. The third one down, we heard a lot about drainage through the community engagement, through conversations with you all. So developing a countywide drainage management and maintenance plan in coordination with your county drainage districts to protect property and reduce flooding impacts. The fourth one on this slide is developing a farmland preservation plan to support agricultural production and balance growth with the desire to preserve rural character. That's a real tension. It's a real tension across the state. So being intentional about that from a preservation standpoint. The next slide is updating the solid waste management plan. So as you all grow and needs change from a solid waste standpoint, making sure that that plan aligns with where you all need to be into the future. That's one of those areas that takes a lot of investment financially oftentimes, so making sure that's incorporated into your budget process. The next one down is updating the Pitt County Greenway Plan. So as things grow, as they develop, as you preserve farmland, making sure you have the right greenway routes so people can enjoy the community, they have the trail access that they need for bike and pedestrian enjoyment. The third one down, those of you who came to the community forums know that I said early and often that counties don't do roads in North Carolina. But you can help play a role in supporting the overall transportation planning. So that's what this next objective is about, to implement the Pitt County Comprehensive Transportation Plan in partnership with all the players that play a role, from NCDOT to the city to the regional planning organizations. And then finally, implementing the Neuse River Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. So this is all about emergency management to reduce flooding risks, protect community assets, and enhance your overall resiliency relative to safety in the community, and also as things change, as development occurs, that you're accounting for that from a planning standpoint. So with that, I'll go back to the first slide on balanced development. What's missing or any feedback on these 4 objectives?
Anybody see anything they want to add?
I don't think it's missing, but I do think that a lot of counties miss it. I think, we look at our neighbors to the west that grew before us, in particular, the farmland preservation and drainage. And drainage is a big deal here. We deal with flooding, but those two really go hand in hand. Farmland sucks up a lot of water. And helps us, and helps keep our waterways from, if they're properly managed, from becoming massive flood zones. And so I think it's just, it's good to talk about it, but I just hope that we are able to be really intentional in our planning and make sure that we can do it, because the pressures to take farmland off the rolls farmland doesn't pay. They're not roofs, right? So it doesn't add to our ad valorem tax base, and so there's a pressure for property owners and sometimes for the county, probably folks 10 years from now in this seats, to approve those types of plans. But long term, if we do want to live in a county where we still have that rural character, and still have those game lands and wild lands, we've got to make the decisions now to commit to that. So I hope we can.
All right. Other feedback? What about this group of objectives? Did these feel right to you all? Anything missing? Anything you all want to discuss? All right. Well, I'm going to keep moving.
Keep moving along.
All right. Our 4th priority area is organizational excellence. So when we look through these, the first 4 you'll see here, first and foremost, and I know work is underway, but design and construct a modern county administration building. We heard quite a bit about that during the engagement process, especially with staff. So how do you become more efficient and provide a welcoming environment through your facilities? Next one down is equip all county employees with the knowledge, skills, and tools necessary to provide excellent customer service, both internally and to community members. So in the work that they're doing all day, every day, but then thinking through, as you work through objective number 1, the new building, what does that front-facing look like? It'll be very different than what you have today, and what are the resources that are going to be needing to make it a welcome environment? The third one, as a former budget analyst and budget wonk, this is one of my favorites. I shouldn't have favorites, but it is. But really regularly conducting organizational assessments to make sure your staffing mix is appropriate, you've got the right structure, your contracted services are right, you've got the right business process, you've got the right tools and technology, really all the things that happen behind the scenes to save money, make sure you have the right staff, that you're planning ahead as you're providing your services, both internally and externally. The fourth one on here is investing in technology. This is an ever-growing area of local government. Technology is expensive, but there's a lot of benefits. I know that y'all have been through some of those technology innovations, but continuing to look at that, the importance of data security, cybersecurity, some of those things as well from a safety standpoint. And they're really that cross-department collaboration. So when you're investing in the technology, making sure it's done holistically, so that really does improve that cross-departmental business process flow. Slide after that one is, this is another area where I can nerd out really deeply, but establishing a comprehensive fleet management plan to make sure you've got the right number of vehicles, the right age, you're not spending too much on maintenance, that you're really hitting that sweet spot as from an efficiency and a resource allocation standpoint. One below that is, how do you tell your story? There's a great story to tell here. So develop and implement marketing and communication strategies to help the community understand what you all do. It's so hard to understand county government, especially. Your city colleagues have it a lot easier. It's a lot easier to understand what a city does versus a county does, especially in North Carolina. So making investments there from a transparency standpoint, and just overall people understand how to access services. So outcomes from that standpoint. And then the last objective we have here is evaluating the development of a funding process to support the local nonprofit organizations that really advance outcomes for county residents. Really successful communities have a fabulous nonprofit sector, they have a strong local government sector, and they all work together in concert really to meet all the needs. Not any one entity can do all the things, so how can you deploy your funding to really fill in some of those gaps? So I'll go back to the first slide here. Oops, sorry, wrong way. Thoughts on this set of objectives from an organizational excellence standpoint?
I have a question.
Okay.
Sort of like a compilation of just looking at all this tends to add up. Movement in Pitt County, in and around Greenville, is a mess.
Mm-hmm.
If you are on the east end of Greenville and you're trying to get across the river, the traffic will back up on 10th Street all the way back to 14th Street. It happens. That's where I gotta hang out at. And you have to roll and stop, and there's not much. I was thinking that it was construction, but there's none going over there. None of it's going on now. But moving around in Greenville is the county seat, and then moving around is almost, I won't say, I'll say hectic, very hectic, and it's time consuming. Traffic flow is not good. So where does it fit into this maze of the strategic?
Great question, because we heard a lot about that in the community forums and the online survey. So in the balanced development, that's really the intention of the objective around implementing the comprehensive transportation plan. So there's the roads that NCDOT has, there's the roads the cities have, the towns have, there's the metropolitan planning organization. So making sure you all have the right seat at the table and are supporting that work in the right way, even though y'all don't do roads, to help with some of that, some of the work that you all can do with greenways and some of those routes to provide alternates to transportation. That's really where that fits in.
Because you got traffic coming from other areas to Greenville, trying to get over.
Oh yeah, you've got the crossroads, you've got people coming to the hospitals, you've got people coming to the university. So really that regional transportation planning effort and balanced development, that's really where that work fits.
But we don't have any input.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard for counties in North Carolina. It really is, because you hear about it, but, yeah.
And
Commissioner Weaver.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll just say what Mr. Nunley said about, we can recommend and do a lot of things, but as Ms. Mary Perkins said, over 30 years ago, they were going to look at buying a southeast or building a southeast bypass. Well, they haven't built one yet. They just finished a southwest bypass just a couple of years ago. When I came here in 1990, 1991, they said they're getting ready to build another bridge over the Tar River east of Greenville. It's here and it's Grimesland, and that's it. And we don't have one. I know we can say and ask, but we're kind of at the mercy of the state. And let's be honest, the way we're growing, there's not a lot of opportunity to build roads to bypass and go out like that.
And we all know the challenges the state has, right, from a funding standpoint, and those resources. So it's a difficult spot, really statewide, that we see.
It's a hazard to the residents' health, those who are coming in and those who are trying to get here for help. And it's a hazard because you can't move. I was looking at EMS when they came with the snow. It was trying to get by, get through, get to the hospital, and they can holler all day, but if they're jammed up, that's a life-threatening situation.
Yeah.
And yes, we do have RPO, but you said we don't have anything to do with roads.
Well, you can contribute your thoughts to the planning process. You don't have anything to do with the maintenance of roads, the construction of roads, the standards of roads. But what this goal is saying is let's be a little more proactive in having our voice heard in the areas that we can, and hope that we can do it in such a way that is influential for the benefit of the community, staying within our lane.
Do you understand what I'm saying about life-threatening and getting to where you need to be in an urgent situation?
Yes.
Any other comments or feedback for Karen?
All right, well, with that, that's the end, really, of the objectives, the priorities, mission, vision. So really kind of to sum it up, anything else that we need to talk about relative to this plan before you all consider it?
Anybody? Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we got a motion to adopt
I'll second.
and a second. All right, please vote.
And is that for both the mission, vision, values, as well as the plan itself?
My motion is for the recommended strategic plan, including the revised mission.
I didn't hear all the wording that you just used, Chris.
She couldn't hear you.
His motion included everything that she showed us. Commissioner Brown?
If I may just ask though, so where does this go from here?
It's a great question.
Like, what are we, once we give a directive?
Yeah. So the next step slide that I have right in front of you is we'll go into implementation meetings with the department director. So each one of these objectives, we'll spend time saying these are the 3 to 5 things that need to happen from an action step standpoint to implement it. Here's who's in charge, here's who's supporting, here's the performance measure, does it need funding or not, here's when it's going to happen. So we're going to go through those meetings over the next few weeks, get that done, we'll have those work sessions. Then we're going to do some work at the department level with 3 other departments to get to the departmental level work plan that align all the way up to the strategic plan. So eventually every department is in that spot. So this is an important step in the process, but we're by no means done. The implementation planning comes next.
Karen, would you go back one slide, which
Yep.
I think reflects the motion that Commissioner Nunley made
Yep.
on your screen?
Did we finish that out, or we need to, did we get the right vote on that map?
I'm just also curious in response to.
You did not.
Then
Okay.
how do we prioritize?
Yep. So what's going to happen with those implementation planning meetings is we'll talk about the sequencing, the timing, the externalities, like what needs to happen first, what needs to happen second. For instance, you can't construct a new county admin building before you select an architect, like some of those types of things. What needs to be staggered relative to the realities of the budget process? So we'll get all of that done, and then the intent is that it will feed into your budget process every year. So you'll have significant conversations around what the plan is, what does that look like, where are you from an implementation standpoint as you're making those funding allocations every year.
Is this essentially a 5 or 10-year?
It's a 5-year plan. Mm-hmm. Anything else I should add to that?
I don't have a problem with the first motion. I don't have a problem with it. But the strategic plan itself is a big ball.
It's what, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear what you said, I'm sorry.
Big ball of threads.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't slide and move and roll easily.
Okay.
Matt?
So I think with that comment from Commissioner Perkins-Williams, if we could have, I believe, 2 separate motions. I believe she agrees with the mission, vision, and core values.
Absolutely.
If we could have a motion and second for that, and then a motion and second for approving the strategic plan.
Okay. All right.
I'll offer that motion for the first one.
I'm sorry, you have to repeat what.
Sure, Commissioner Hogan. So I believe, judging by the statements of Commissioner Perkins-Williams, she is not in favor of the strategic plan. So I guess 2 things technically. You could have one motion rolled with both the mission, vision, core values, and strategic plan, voting on it with what I assume would be a vote in the negative from Commissioner Perkins-Williams. But she agrees with the mission, vision, and core values. And so if you would like a unanimous vote for that, I believe if you have 2 motions, a motion and second for the first motion, which is approve mission, vision, and core values, and then come back and have a motion and second for the strategic plan.
So is there a substitute, is Commissioner Perkins-Williams making a substitute motion? Because there is a motion and a second on the floor.
I like to offer a motion, substitute motion, that we consider them each piece at the time.
Okay, that's kind of confusing, but we'll go back.
Motion 1 and motion 2.
So,
Matt?
just for the record, Commissioner Perkins-Williams, if you could make a substitute motion saying that your motion would be a motion to approve the mission, vision, and core values at this point.
Yes. That would be my motion.
Okay.
I have no problem with that at all.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve. Read it again, Matt.
Correct. Motion to approve, a substitute motion to approve the mission, vision, and core values at this point.
Yes.
Okay, let's go,
Separately.
let's get this one out of the way. We'll go with that one. We've got a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all right, let's vote on that. Okay, that's been approved. So Commissioner Nunley, you want to make a motion on the other?
Sure, motion to approve the strategic plan.
And I'll
Okay.
second.
We got a- we got
I
a-
have a question on that.
Okay,
Does that mean that we're taking it as it is and it doesn't need some work? Because I see a lot of holes.
well, there's still a lot of work that's got to be done to it. I mean, this is just a plan being brought to us. There's all kinds of work
And we're
moving
changing.
forward.
It's a working document,
It
correct?
is a working document, absolutely.
This is, motion to approve the working strategic plan. I can do that, but the plan as it is, no.
The plan will be continuous. We will update it as we go and
Can't we
address.
call it working strategic plan? That means that we'll be free to make some
Yeah,
changes.
that's not commissioners, that's not the commissioner's motion.
We can't make any changes if we say that we accept this as it is.
You can.
All right, let's vote. We've got a motion and we've got a second. If you're in favor of that, let's vote on it, please. Okay, all right, thank you so much.
Thank you, I
Karen,
appreciate it.
appreciate all your work.
Y'all
I
have
know
a good
there's
evening.
still a
Thank you.
lot to do moving forward. Madam Manager, number 3?
Yes, Tim Corley couldn't be with us this evening, but Ken Brand, our assistant engineer, if he will come forward. to present the relocation project for Pitt Area Transit to the Technology Enterprise Center. He's going to share some information about what we have and then seek your approval to bid the work out.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, County Manager. I'm here tonight to present the Pitt Area Transit relocation to you. So, Pitt Area Transit is currently located on the county office building complex. It's in the first floor of the old nurses building behind the hospital. The proposed new location would be on the north end of the Technology Enterprise Building located at 1800 North Green Street. This is a floor plan of the Technology Enterprise System. The highlighted red area would be the new location where we remove the Pitt Area Transit. This slide shows a close-in view of the area. This area would include offices, a conference room, a training room, a driver's room, a break room, locker room, and we would also install a new bathroom facilities that would serve the rest of the building. We have some Pitt County departments moving into that building also other than Pat's. So this would kind of serve as a bathroom for everybody to be able to use on that side of the building. This project was designed by JKF Architecture. The Pitt Area Transit operation space will increase from approximately 3,300 square feet to 5,347. The total budget for this project is $2,728,250 or $728,259. And if you have any questions, I can try to answer them. But we are here tonight asking for authorization for county staff to bid this project.
Okay, any questions? Okay.
Does that mean that the buses are gonna go to?
Yes, the buses, the Pitt Area Transit vans that are parked at this building would actually, we anticipate will be in a secure area beside that Technology Enterprise Center with a fence for security. But we've talked about potentially putting a camera in there. And then ultimately, not in this phase of the project, but I'd love to even see like a car wash station going forward as a future phase. But yes, the vehicles would go with the staff for a more efficient operation over there. I think some of the things to consider is that it remains centrally located within the county to be able to have a home base that can get all over the county. It provides nicer and efficient space because Pitt Area Transit, remember, would not be joining in the new county administration building. And so we needed to find a home for them. And it utilizes space right there. It will be the closest to the Sheriff's Administration building on that side of the Technology Enterprise Center. So still feel like it's within the complex. But recall too, if you've been to that building, and I know many of you, if not all of you have, it has a very large parking lot. And that parking lot will need some improvement before this project is all said and done. But I think it will be a safe, convenient location for the vehicles and a place where your staff of Pitt Area Transit would feel good about coming to work each day. It will be a significant renovation project. And two things, Mr. Chairman, if you'll allow me to add. We will realize some degree of cost savings, ultimate cost savings, if the project is managed in-house. And we believe we have the staff to do that. So that gets it to the number that's you see on your screen. And then the second thing is if you give the authority to bid this project out this evening, then we'll get those bids. You'll still have to vote to enter into that contract, accept the bid, and authorize the work to begin. But from a funding perspective, before we go there, we will be looking, this is a projection number from our architects. We will be looking for a very competitive number in that bid to award this project, and the anticipated funding source would be your general fund balance, your savings. And so we're not looking to add cost of a borrowing to a transaction of this size. And so we are hopeful that those bids will come in with a very sharp pencil so that we can get this work done. We know that effective and efficient transportation is key to the success of our residents in this community for both educational needs, workforce needs, healthcare needs. And I believe that this renovation will get us closer to that outcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Weaver?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Quick question, if you know, or maybe Madam Manager. How old is the building right now, the age of it? Because the parking lot is in bad shape, and if I remember correctly, the Board of Elections had some leaking in the roof pretty substantially out there a couple of times.
Yeah, we just replaced that roof about a year and a half ago,
Right.
over the complete building, so there's been no issues since we've done that. The age of the building, I would say it's
Kelly might
50s.
know. How old is the Technology Enterprise Center? It has been here since you have been employed, is that true? You have been leasing it.
I think it's in the 50s. I would say the 1950s construction.
1950s?
It used to be the prep shirt building.
I figured it was here a whole lot longer than I was, because I remember. I was just wondering, that was my concern about putting that kind of money in a building that's that age. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? What's the pleasure of the board? Got a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote. Okay, all right, we'll move on. Thank you,
All
sir.
right, thank you.
We'll move on, Madam Manager, number 4.
Yes, you have on page 157 in your packet, a recommendation to reappoint or to nominate Dolores Nobles for reappointment to the Pitt County Nursing Home and Adult Care Home Community Advisory Committee.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve.
Got a motion and a second, please vote. Okay, thank you. Moving on to number 5.
Your next one is for the Town of Grimesland Planning Board, and it is recommended that you nominate Betty Sue Harrison for appointment and Toby Williams for reappointment to that Grimesland Planning Board.
Okay, pleasure of the board.
Motion.
Got a motion and a second. Please vote. Okay, next up, Madam Manager.
Is the ECU Health Medical Center Board of Trustees. Remember, this appointment's a little different than your others. You receive nominations from a nominating committee to which you can say yes or no. If you say no, it goes back for further consideration. We've had a slight change in this one. This evening, we're asking that you reappoint Christopher Jenkins to the ECU Health Medical Center Board of Trustees. It is my understanding that Michael Fitzpatrick, who is eligible for reappointment, intends to resign from that board. And so I'd asked you to hold off on that one for now.
Okay, all right. Got a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote. All right, thank you. And the last one, Madam Manager.
Yes, is a recommendation for the Pitt County Board of Equalization and Review that you consider nomination of Edwin Congleton for reappointment with the appropriate exception because he has exceeded the maximum number of terms served. He is not alone in that. If you look on page 167 of your other board members, and so that if you appoint him, that you do so with the appropriate exception for maximum number of terms, and also that you appoint Jeremy King to continue serving as chairman.
Okay, pleasure of the board. Got a motion to approve? And a second. All right, please vote. Okay, is that all for items for decision?
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to Commissioner comments. I'll start with my left, Commissioner Bannon,
No comments, sir.
Commissioner Nunley,
No comment.
Commissioner Huggins.
Well, I want to say to the staff, thank you for all the work we did during the snow. I want to echo a shout out as the county manager did. So, yeah, thank you. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Weaver.
Yeah, I want to also thank the county staff in the time of the snow. Y'all did a great job. Also, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say one thing about the heating bills. A lot of people have contacted us about their electrical bills, and I don't believe it's all just because of the cold temperature. I think some things are going on where Duke Power in this state are charging or making us pay for certain things, and I believe we need to look at that or get someone that can answer some questions, because I believe someone that's paying $600, $700, $800 a month to heat a house needs to be addressed when it's gone up and it continues to rise. So I would love for someone to look at that and bring someone down here and talk to us about it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I do too. That's why the town of Winterville left Duke Energy a number of years ago, and they get their energy from another place now. Commissioner Brown?
No comment.
Commissioner?
Oh, I'll have to, I'd like to offer a motion that we adjourn.
Well, 1 second.
No comment. Don't
No
let me
comment?
stop her.
Okay. I would also like to thank the Pitt County team. What a great job during the adverse weather. Anything else? Now we will entertain that motion.
To adjourn.
Okay, and a second. All right, please vote. Thank you all.
You got two no's.
So
is the pursuit of places that promise stability, growth, and ample opportunity for the future.
One of the reasons that parents are leaving urbanized areas to come to Pitt County is